This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good afternoon and welcome to the twice weekly Clear Lines training session. I'm your host, Kipp Cohen. It is Thursday, the 7th of March, 2019, here for the next 60 minutes to answer your questions about the Clear Lines indicator running on the Medved Trader Platform. If you have specific questions you'd like to ask, please feel free to do so. Again, I offer these training sessions twice weekly, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 4 o'clock Eastern Time. They are recorded and they are available for reviewing at the YouTube page for equity-alerts.com, my other company. Just to give you guys a real quick overview of the Clear Lines indicator. Clear Lines were developed by myself and a programmer to fill a void when WiseTrade shut down. The indicator is a buying and selling momentum indicator based on price, volume, and tick data. It is obviously a real-time indicator and runs on currently just on the Medved Trader Platform. There is a fee to utilize the indicator. If you want information on that, you can go to equity-alerts.com, click on the Clear Lines tab to learn more about that if you are not currently subscribing. We partnered with Medved Trader for a lot of reasons. One of the biggest is that their platform is extremely powerful. It is, it does some amazing things. And the Medved team is very responsive, especially to our needs and responsive to our customers' needs. We love the fact that they are always looking to expand as well, to expand their platform, to improve upon it. So at this point, are there any specific questions that any of you may have about utilizing the Clear Lines or the Medved platform? Any specific questions I can answer at this point? This is mainly a audience-driven, user-driven session. I have one person saying, not seeing video, do I need to click another icon? You should see a screen right now that shows JCI and Cisco. You should be able to see my charts. It should be in real time. If you cannot see it at the moment, you might need to log out and log back in. So I think what I'm going to do initially today is I'm going to just start with kind of for an example of what you see when you first start the program and kind of the choices you have for layouts. So for someone that's first starting the layout, the application, you're going to see a layout similar to this. This is the Medved's basic starting layout. Okay, you've got a upper left side is a portfolio, bottom left is a news window, middles are charts, a intraday on the top, which is minutes, and a historical, which is day, week, month, quarter, or yearly. On the right, you have level 2 and raw data, and then on the bottom right corner, you have the dashboard. So this is kind of the little of everything that Medved gives out to their customers. Okay, one second. Okay, so for those that first sign up for Clear Lines, what's going to happen is it's going to start out with this layout, which is called the Clear Lines for swing or position trading. So for somebody that has Medved Trader, they're not going to see the Clear Lines layouts or have access to it unless they are subscribing. So what they've done is they've set it up for our customers. This layout is the one that's going to actually automatically open up. This is an 8-chart layout that utilizes a monthly, weekly, and daily chart. So the long, mid, and short-term trend, and then our swing position lights, 130, 60, 30, 10, and 2 minute. And what I will tell you is, depending on how much screen space, or I call it how much real estate you have to work with, will determine what type of layout you're going to use. I've been working with some clients that have not a real high resolution like a laptop, and to see things more clearly, it makes sense just to use a 2-chart layout, historical and an intraday. If you're not trading real actively, if you're just managing your own portfolio, that's probably all you really need. If you're going to start trading more actively, you may want to get into some of the more custom layouts. And for new users just getting started with Clear Lines, one of the things that I do is I will give you an hour of one-on-one coaching, basically, and setup time where I'll connect to your computer remotely, and then we'll discuss and talk about what layout works best for you, and then I'll help set it up for you. And I've got a couple different layouts. I'm down to pretty much just using 2 basic layouts: my 2-chart in the morning before the market open, and then my popper dropper layout throughout the day. That's what just works best for me. But one of the great things about the platform is that it does allow you to customize pretty much however you want for your needs, your own personal needs. So again, this layout is great if you need a quick snapshot of a bunch of different time frames all at once. And all you have to do is you just click on any symbol up in your whichever watch list or portfolio you're working out of, and you can build as many as you want. You're going to be limited to the number of symbols based on your broker, and each broker has a different number of symbols you can look at once, so you need to make sure you're not over your symbol limit. But if I want to scan through a number of stocks real quickly, all I have to do is kind of click up here in the watch list on the symbol, and it's going to load that up. And then I've got a quick view. I can see, like Apple, the monthly chart just turned back to green. The weekly chart's been green for several weeks, and the daily chart's been trending pretty much since the beginning of the year. And then I can have a quick view of the intraday charts as well, just to see what's going on. And so I can scroll through, and I can, one after the other, I can just quickly analyze my stocks utilizing this layout. If I need to see the overall trend of the stock in a very quick format. So when you're doing your research, when you're scanning through a bunch of stocks and you need to see the trends, this is the layout you probably want to use if you want to see the long, mid, and the short and the intraday activity real quickly. If you don't need to see so many time frames, you could cut this down a little bit, maybe to maybe there's 6 charts and do without the 130. Maybe move the kind of, I'm going to just show you how easy it is to kind of customize things. We'll stretch, 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 stretch. Those should be just about pretty close. Let's see. Those are pretty close. Oh. This is the hard part, is trying to get them like just the exact same. Okay, that's pretty close. So, or you could do like this. The top row is the long, mid, and the short, and then the bottom row I've got a 2, 10, 30, and 60. I don't know how necessary a 130 really is. I mean, I think I can get an idea of 130 on using a 60-minute anyways. So actually, I think this is a decent little layout. You know, you got the overall trend on the upper 3 charts and then intraday on the lower 4. So once you kind of have built a layout, then all you have to do is go click Save Layout, and you name it whatever you want to call it. So this would be 5 chart layout with long, mid, short LMS, long, mid, short, and 4 intraday. All right, and boom, now I've got a new layout. So this would be ideal for scanning through and looking at, you know, overall trends. You can also adjust the number of periods to, you know, depending on how far back you want to see. Hold on one second. You know, this is a 50 period time frame right here on the monthly chart, but if you want to see 100 periods, well, this one doesn't go back that far, but let's go to Apple. If I want to see 100 periods, or which would be 100 months, that's 100 period. I want to see 100 weeks, that's 100 week. I want to see 100 days, 100 days. So I can see a little further back in time just to get a better view of the overall trend as well. Depends on what, again, how you want to see things. There's not a right or wrong way to do this. It's whatever works best for you. But the great thing is that I can slide back and I can look further back in time just to see what was going on and where the price was. So if I like this, like that with 100 on the top and 50 on the bottom, then I can just resave it. Now, next time I go back to this one, it'll be like that. So there, you'll notice there's a little yellow bulb on the symbols on the watch list and portfolio. There's also a little yellow bulb on the chart. If that's lit up, that means that there's a news story. You can set up your news by clicking on the Show Dashboard, F12, or go to File, and then click on Settings. And then under News, you can configure that. So depending on what broker you have will determine if you'll have access to certain news sources. So because I'm set up with Ally Invest, TD Ameritrade, and Yahoo Finance, I can utilize all of their news sources. Actually, I think I can use, I may not be able to use Interactive, but I can utilize these three, or if you subscribe to The Fly or Stockwatch, you can access the news from them. So when I click on any one of those bulbs, it's going to open up the news page. You'll notice on the left side, there's a list of all the stocks. Those are all the stocks that are in my portfolio or watch list. And then it's highlighted on the one stock that I clicked on, which is Apple. And obviously every day Apple has a lot of news stories. You can see that all the ones that are Yahoo obviously come from Yahoo. Ally Invest, we'll say Ally Invest. And then the TD Ameritrade ones typically come from the DJC News, and Benzinga is the sources for TD. But I can also just click on any of the names on the left side here and pull up the story for those stocks that are in my watch list. And if it's yellow, that means there's a recent story. Any of the light bulbs that are on, there's a recent story. Once I click it, then obviously it turns off that yellow light. There is also a, if you go back to File and go to Settings, no, I'm sorry. If you go to the dashboard, which is the little square with the 4 colored boxes in it, I call it the Rubik's Cube. You'll see that on the top of any chart. You'll see there's a all news and a symbol news. Okay, so symbol news is based on all of my symbols in my portfolio, and then all news will be just I'm not sure what I'm not sure if this is limited to what's on that I'm watching, or I need to actually find out what's the difference between the two. I think this is what this does is this scans all of my watch list, not just the one watch list. So the other one scans the current open watch list. I believe this all news is all my watch lists. More news coming through. We talked about the ability to trade directly on the charts. Again, there are a lot of additional features. If you want to go through and take the time to actually learn more about the Medved platform, if you click the help button, they have a pretty good database of overview of their platform in here, just to learn about how everything works. I'm more of one of those that just does it. I just go in and start doing it. I don't, I don't need the help menu. I don't read the instruction manual. I just kind of do it. But there is basically a help tutorial if you need it. If there are no other specific questions right now, I don't mind focusing on spending a little time on just doing a chart evaluation and showing you what I look for as far as evaluating a stock for a trade. We could do that. I mean, is there anything specific you guys want to cover right now? No questions? So I'm gonna, so Cisco was actually one that we had earlier, and I was a little short-sighted on it. I mean, we had a decent day today, first of all. Today was a decent day. But, you know, and I'm going to blow up this 3-minute chart so you can see it a little more clearly. But Cisco had a pretty solid run up this kind of early in the day, and it stalled out. This is right at resistance 1 on the daily pivot. This is one of the indicators we utilize. Okay. Let me go to a 15-minute. I'm going to draw Fibonacci. I like to use the first 15-minute time frame as a general guide. So now let me go back to my 3-minute. So we had confluence earlier today. Let me go get my little highlighter. We had confluence of both the 300% Fibonacci level of the first 15-minute, resistance 1, and basically a whole number right below $52. So it stalled out here. All right. Now we jumped in before the 3-minute, before it gave a 3-minute arrow. It had given the 1 minute, I believe, already. Let me pull the 1 minute. Whoops. Actually, we were just getting the 1 minute when we entered the trade. So we entered this. Obviously, we saw the red and green lines curving over because we didn't enter until after they had curved over, but they had already curled over, and we were utilizing the fact that we were at resistance and a fib level, and knowing that we were below a whole number. So risk to reward wise, we're like, okay, well, I only have to really risk about a dime on this trade because, you know, I mean, it's got room. So we kind of looked at it and said, all right, well, there's a couple targets we can set. We like to use fib levels as targets. It came down, it hit the 2618, stalled out right here. Let me go back to my highlighter. You can see it kind of stalled right around this 2618, and then it started to drop. All right, so we were moving the stop down, and it landed right on the 127 of the first 15 minutes. It actually did start to bounce back upwards. So I tightened up the stop, obviously, got taken out. I mean, it's still a 20, I think it was a 24-cent gain or something. Hold on, let's see. Got short at 51.93, covered at 51.69. So 24 cents, still not a bad trade, almost 0.5%. But, you know, we also knew that VWAP was right down here. down around a fib level, and it had room to drop further. A little short-sighted. The market had been bouncing, but it ended up continuing lower, hit the VWAP, stalled for just a brief moment, and then continued back down. So we actually we would need to go to the 15 now and turn the first 15-minute the other way to see how far it's going the opposite direction. So now when you flip it the other way, since we broke below the low of the first 15-minute, look what it did. It came down, it hit the 200, touched it right here, literally touched it, and started to bounce, and then we corrected again. And we almost got to, hold on, the 2618 of the first 15-minute, the reverse 2618. So that's where we bounced off of. So these levels can help you, again, using a combination of my clear lines, pivot points, Fibonacci levels, and VWAP could definitely help you for finding potential price targets and maximizing your trade. My guess is if we were watching a bigger interval, well, see right in here, even on a 5-minute, we consolidated sideways. So that was a reasonable spot to get out. What we could have done is re-entered as we rolled back down and then caught another 25 or 30 cents on the next leg down. That's really what I should have done. The bigger intervals, the bigger minute lights can help keep you in a trade a little bit longer. Especially I'm finding a 15-minute can keep you in a trade quite a bit longer. But again, everybody trades a little bit differently. You have to determine what's, your trading rules and what works best for you. And, I have a tendency to sometimes take profits a little bit quicker than I probably should. And, I know Jim will my partner Jim and Lindsay will tend to let things run a little bit longer than I will. And it's just a different style. And then a lot of our traders in our Equity Alerts chat room kind of will do the same thing. They'll let the trades go a little bit longer. Carl from Houston's really good at that, maximizing. And that's just personal trade style, I mean, I got to watch a lot of different things and help a lot of people. So a lot of times it's, on to the next one. But I know I do miss sometimes a lot of additional profits by being a little overly protective. Anyway, that's kind of how I evaluate and I look at things. I know Lindsay is looking at EA right now. So EA, here we are, the Dow's down 200 something points. It's been trending up most of the day. Let's fib the first 15-minute. Oh, look at that. We're right at the 3618 of the first 15-minute. The 3-minute clear line still pointing up. We actually just had an up arrow just a few minutes back. The 1-minute just curled over, so it actually went above and then came back down. So at this point, I would call this still a little risky because we don't have our 3-minute behind our 1-minute. So you could, again, depending on your trade style, you could consider this an entry point, maybe taking a smaller position. Playing off of the weakness on the 1 minute and being at a big Fibonacci level, that 3618, and knowing that the stock's up 4% on a down day, the ideal, we just lost it. Just see, that's why you want to, that's really why you want to wait for that 3 minute. That 3 minute is going to give you a stronger indication of a reversal. It's hard to trade off of just a 1 minute because it can change pretty quickly. But it's kind of more of a watch and wait. Oh, see, now it's breaking out. And like I said, the 3 minute had already given a green up arrow. So actually, I mean, I wouldn't do it personally just because we're on a down day and the stock is up 4%. But for those that like to play, you know, the breakouts, that was a break above a fib level back to the upside. So that could have been a long entry right through here, especially considering the momentum of this stock today. And then we just got to break through another fib level, the 3618. Which could have been used as an add-on place to add on to your position. Yeah, the ideal scenario is a 1 and 3 minute, giving you an up or down arrow for initiating a trade. That is going to be the safest opportunity. So like, let's go back right through here. Right just before noon, you got a 3 minute arrow to the downside, which if I go back on my 1 minute, so right in here, so you had your first arrow here and you got your second arrow down right about the same time that the 3 minute. So you had the two giving you down arrows at the same time, and then it had a nice little pullback. Not a huge one, but that was about a 60-cent move down through here, just by utilizing a 1 and 3 minute clear lines with the down arrow. They work very well together. Now Cisco, let's go back to Cisco. Cisco is trying to bounce off of some support right now. If I use current day on my 3 minute, I can see the full trading session, and I can draw a line. So we're kind of sitting on support. We went a little lower this go around than from this morning. But this is a support level right now. I would want to see the markets kind of start to bounce a little bit. And then, we know our first price target. We've got pivot point back up here, and we got VWAP just above pivot. So we would risk, if we put a stop below the low of the day, you're talking 10 or 15 cents of risk for 15, 20 cents of reward. Not bad, not great. That's if, you know, I mean, it could go higher, but that's probably the minimal risk to reward. Don't have an up arrow yet on the 3-minute. And I do have an up arrow on the 1-minute. I just don't have the 3 behind it. And that's because with the 3 had flipped down and now it's trying to flip back up. Oh, there we go. See, you just got an arrow coming in on the 3-minute. It's just showed up. But it's got a almost full 3 minutes before it'll lock in. So you could consider starting here, knowing you have the 1 and the 3 starting to build. It's still a little risky because that can still undo itself. Especially we're still 1 minute into the 3-minute time frame. This is what I like about the little countdown clock right here. I know there's 2 minutes and 14 seconds left in my 3-minute time frame. It'd be better if I could see what the market was doing. So let me adjust this. Now I'm going to do it like this. Now I can see my numbers here. Or if I do it like this, I can watch my 1 minute and my 3-minute together, which is what I really like to do. Oh, I need to remove. There we go. Yeah, EA kind of broke out, so that was a good thing we didn't try to short that. Any specific questions for me? We're a little past the halfway point in the show. Any specific questions? All right, I'm going to try a little long here on Cisco at 51.30. I'm going to use a bracket order for my exit. I'm going to set my stop just below the low of the day. So that would be a sell at, I'm going to do 51.18. So it tells me on my capsule, if I set my stop at 51.18, then I'm going to lose $60. Then I can hold down my mouse and I'm going to scroll upwards. So if I set my limit at pivot point, then I'm looking at $60 profit. That's a 1-to-1. If I go to VWAP, it's a $90 gain. That's a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward, right? I'm risking 60 to make 90. Either one of those are possible. It could get to the VWAP. The obvious challenge is there's only 20 minutes left in the trading day, so I seriously doubt that it's actually going to get there. Unless we get a really swift end of the day buying momentum coming into the market. Chances are it probably won't. That's why it's kind of hard to show this stuff at the end of the day. But I like to do it just to give you examples of how to utilize the system, how to utilize the chart trading, how to utilize the indicators that we like to use, and of course, most importantly, how to utilize clear lines with the Medved Trader Platform. So we did get, let me go to it, back to 100 bar. We did get an up arrow lock on the 3 minute, and we got a secondary one on the 1 minute. So we got our double confirmation on the 1 and 3, and I believe we even have a 5 minute up arrow as well. Okay, this is a little hard to see. Let me go down to 50 bars, but you'll, hiding under there, well, it's building it. See, actually, it's not a confirmation yet. It's flickering back and forth from green to being gone, which means we're only halfway through that 5 minute. So it's non-committal at this point. Don't currently own Dish, but I saw it recommended for another run recently. Your opinion? So let's go to the historical chart, because at least that'll give us the overall trend. I'm going to remove the candles. So looking at the monthly chart, I mean, obviously I don't give buy, sell, or hold recommendations when it comes to, I think, I'm not an analyst in the sense like, I think Dish is a good buy here. That's not what I do. I look at the charts and I evaluate what I see in the charts, and I make the assessment on a technical basis and give my opinion, which is what you asked for. I just want to be clear, my opinion. So just looking, first of all, at the monthly chart, obviously, Dish, big uptrend from 2010 to 2015, reversal, big reversal, 17, half of 17, all of 18, and starting to bounce this year. Well, last time that we caught a little bounce, look what it did. It rolled back down. Is this nothing more than a bounce roll? Could be. So it's definitely pretty risky still. The weekly chart's not horrible. You do have a kind of an inverted head and shoulders pattern. So it's got some upward potential back towards 36 level. Not a huge amount, but about 4 points from here. If it breaks that, it's got a lot of room. Could get into the mid 40s. Daily, I mean, there's your V bottom, which a lot of stocks hit right around Christmas. We had the V bottom come in. I think as far as what I call a bottom fish stock, it's not bad. You've got big up potential if it can get some momentum behind it. Could get to the 40s, could go further than that. I would probably utilize support line somewhere around, you've got a big support line right here. 27.5, that's your big support line. So you would be looking at risk of 5 points from here to really put it out of harm's way. You got 5 points of risk, but you've got 10, 15 points of potential reward if it can get, and your first stop's going to be up here. So your initial is a 1-to-1 risk to reward. You're going to risk 5.5 points to make 5.5. That's your initial. If it can get through that, you probably got up to the mid 40s. That's a good trade. Then you're risking 5 to make 14 points, 13 or 14 points. So what you may want to consider doing is, if you were to initiate a position in this, you start in a half position. If it gets up through this level, you add your second half here at the break, and then you're riding it all the way up towards that next level, because that's the meat right here. This is the meat. If you can get it up to here, if it breaks that, then you got even more. So I think it's reasonable here. I think you're initially a 1-to-1 risk to reward, and then you can step into add-on if it breaks out. That makes sense? Today, when our VWAPs didn't match up, you reset something. I didn't follow what you did. So right here under main, there's a button that says clear all data. And sometimes you have to hit that to clear it. And it reloads all the quote data. So our Cisco trade is working. You can see we're already up about $15, $20 right now. If we had more time in the trading day, I would say this has got a good potential of hitting our target. Being that there's only less than 10 minutes to go, I'm just gonna manually shut it down, and I'll show you here's the emergency button. If you're in a trade and you're like, realize, oh my God, the market's about to close, or oh my gosh, I just need to get out now, I don't want to hesitate. I love the fact that they have this flatten trade button. So you can either go to trading and it's right here, flatten, or if you do what I did, I right-clicked and added it to my quick access toolbar. So now I have it right here on the quick access toolbar. I can just hit that. What it's going to do, it's going to exit the trade and it's going to close any open orders, which we have a bracket order open right now. So when I click this, it's going to sell at a market, which will give me a nickel. No. Where am I in it? 51.30. Oh, it's going to give me 3 pennies. I'll make 3 cents, not much, enough to buy lunch, maybe, or breakfast and cover commissions. Oh, I shouldn't have hesitated. Now I'm only going to make 2 cents. So I'm out. I'm out. It closes out the trade. It cancels the open orders. And I made $10 less commission. Enough to buy breakfast, maybe. Oh, I'm glad I hit the exit button. Now, one thing about that, just so you know, you can only hit that on whatever chart you're on for that stock. If I go try to hit it up here, it's not, I don't have a position in Dish, so there's nothing to flatten. But it's great, especially either at really quick times in the market, like right at the open, or at the end of the day when you need to close out positions. Any other questions? Any other questions? For those of you that do have accounts with TD Ameritrade, they do give you market data for futures. So you'll notice that I have futures quotes on my watch list. I keep the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, crude oil, nat gas, gold, silver, and copper. The important thing is you have to keep track of which is the current front month contract, and sometimes it's kind of a pain. But what I do is I go to CME Group's website, and then if you click on trading, and then all products. So like I need to double check silver. It's easy to tell if you're on the front month contract because the time of trades, that this little clock right here, these are when trades are going through. If you're not real time, if it's not pretty close to the current time, you're probably not on the front month. They're all pretty much current time. Silver and gold slow down in the afternoon a little bit because of the pits closing, but you can click on a specific contract. So if I want to look at metals, and then there's silver futures. You go to the quotes. The quotes are going to give you all the different contracts, and you look at wherever all the volume's at. So like all the volumes currently on the May contract. May is the K contract, and I am not on the May right now, so I need to switch that. See, I'm on the K. Wait, what did I say? Yeah, May is K. K is May. Sorry, that's the right contract. May is the K contract. That is the correct one. I have a little code list of all the which is the right month, what number or what letter. So yeah, so it's kind of a pain in the butt to do, but you follow the volume and then you'll figure out which is the, and then you can just gold is heavy volume is in the April contract right now. So April is the J contract. I know I'm on the J. See, that's probably going to roll over pretty soon. I'm not sure which one it's going to roll into. My guess is it's probably going to roll into June next because look where the next big volume is. It's on the June contract, 45,000. Tomorrow is going to be rollover day for equity, for index futures. So like S&P E-mini. Right now, right meow, the volume is heavy on March, but we roll into June tomorrow. I've actually already updated mine to June, to tomorrow's. I'm already showing June is the M contract. I've already rolled over. I did that today. Okay, guys, last questions. If not, I'm going to call it a day. Got some errands to run, got a haircut to get done. How do I make two bottom charts different from the top two charts? So right here, you'll notice there's a little push pin. That's for the symbol linking. You need to make sure that that's the bottom two charts have a different color than the top two. So my top two are blue right here and here. That's tied to my watch list, which has a blue push pin. The bottom ones are green and green. So if I click up here, it's going to change to the top charts because these are tied together. Down here, if I just type in a symbol, Facebook, then it'll change the bottom two. So the bottom row has to have a different push pin than the top. Or you could do a different one here. You could change the color of that one, go red, and then these two become independent. Then you can have. It just depends on how you want it. I typically don't look at more than about 2 stocks at a time. So I keep the these two matched, bottom two matched up and different from the top two. Did that make sense, John? You could do, again, it depends on how much desktop space. You could do 3 rows, you could do 4 rows if you have a lot of monitors. You can kind of do as many as you need. And you can make them, you can actually create, you could create, I think I have a layout. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I load layout. I think I did a layout with multiple watch lists. Here, active layout with 2 watch lists. So like, it's kind of busy. So like this one has a historical on the far right, and then these are all minutes, half minute, 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute. And see, so down here, if I click, that controls the bottom, and this one controls the top. So if I build a big watch list down here, then I can just, so you can create watch list, or I can switch this watch list. I can go to the NASDAQ 100. Oops, I need to switch the view. There you go. So now, oops, that's a dynamic. Oh, there we go. Is that tile simple 2? Did I do it? Yeah, tile simple 2. So now I have hold on a second. Oh, I don't use dynamic. Hold on. There we go. So then I can, I can go through the NASDAQ 100, just click and load these in on the bottom. And this popper droppers for my top. Pretty cool. And again, go back to my 2 chart layout. This is what I use in the morning. Okay, guys, that's it for today's session. Again, this is recorded. I will be posting this to our YouTube page. You can get to the YouTube page by going to equity-alerts.com. At the top of the page, you're going to see a link for YouTube. If you click that, that's where these are posted. All of my training sessions get posted here with a description. If you ever need to go back and watch any of these, feel free to do so. If you have interest in learning more about the clear lines indicator, you can click on the clear lines tab on the equity alerts page. You can sign up for it, $59 a month for clear lines. If you have an Ally Invest account. If you don't, there is an additional charge of $19.99 a month after 30 days for Medved Trader, and that's as long as you have an account with one of our integrated brokers for your data. If you don't have an account with Ally Invest, TD Ameritrade, E-Trader, or Interactive Brokers, or if you're in Canada, if you don't have Questrade, you would have to also subscribe to a third-party data source. That would add about another $25 a month or more, depending on what data you need. Real quick, John says, when I click the pin, I don't get different colors. Click the drop down. There's a little drop down. You should see there. If you just click the pin, it's going to go blank. Click the drop down, and then you'll have there's a little arrow next to it, and you'll see the different colors. If you have additional questions, feel free to email me, kip@equity-alerts.com, or you're welcome to call me on my cell phone or text me, 972-841-8886. That's it for me. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see some of you guys tomorrow in the Equity Alerts webinar. Others that want to participate with this, I'll see you on Tuesday at 3 o'clock Eastern. Thank you.